watching Notepad with me, Ibrahim Sani. Today I have with me SalamWeb. If you've never heard of them, they are new in the market. And joining me is the MD of SalamWeb Technologies, Puan Haja Hasni Zarina. Hasni, thanks again for sharing your time with us. The very notion of having Islamic anything, right? Islamic banking, Islamic food, Islamic dressing, Islamic fashion is like it's like a thing for Malaysia, I suppose. And sometimes when we go into new things like Islamic web, one has to ask, what is so un-Islamic about web itself to a point where you now have to have Islamic web?
Okay, yes, thank you for having me here today. Basically, just to sort of put that question into perspective, yeah? Before you even have this halal certification, like 50 years ago, before Jakim started with their halal certification, you have the choice, but you don't have that sort of convenience for you in terms of selecting what's halal and what's not halal, because there was no real process and availability of halal products per se. Yeah, so same goes to the internet world. It's something that you need to consume, just like halal food, information, other things that you consume. So you want to have it halal because there are so many inappropriate content, you know, all sorts of, we can call them bad content on the internet. So then there is a need to have this choice of you having a halal digital per se, so that when you want to go into the digital world, you do not have to worry, but you yourself trying to figure out what's halal and what's not halal, or what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, because this browser, this digital browser, helps you to sift out the unwanted content.
Who decides what is halal, what is not, when it comes to information?
Okay, basically, because we are also being advised by these Islamic advisors, and we have been certified as Shariah-compliant, there are certain, we call it the overriding themes. There are at least 6 overriding themes, and these are the parameters that help us to build these filters. So it's not like who like what's halal or what's not halal, but things like, example, gambling, that's not for Muslim, obviously. So things, information pertaining to gambling is made available. They are made available, but when it comes to the gambling itself, like playing poker online, that's not halal. So what it is at the end of the day is that Muslims, we want to live this life the same way how we live our physical world. I mean, consistent to what we have in our digital world. Because like, if in your physical world, you don't go to porn areas, you don't, you don't play, you don't gamble. So these are the bad things that you don't do physically. So now, come to the digital world, same thing applies.
If I don't search for porn, if I don't search for alcohol, if I don't gamble online, I guess I don't need SalamWeb. I just go to any other browser and not do that, right?
Okay, how sure are you that they don't come to you?
I have intellect. I have the, I guess, grown-up adult. I have agency on my body. I'm above 18. I know what's good. I know what's not.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Yeah, but again, when you are on the internet, you have been bombarded with things that you don't know. Sometimes, example.
So this is the thing, right? Who gets? So I cannot trust myself. I have to trust you. Is that it?
It's not that. Just same as your physical world.
The fact that you have to decide for me, that means I cannot trust myself. I have to release that agency to you.
No, this is not deciding for you, but you decide for yourself. You have the choice what you want to see and what you don't want to see. But what we are giving to you is basically a tool for you to then decide what you choose to see and what you choose not to see.
If I go online with no intention of searching for poker, likelihood of me finding poker online is very, very small. Think about it, right? I want to search for the MH17 news, right? There's big news last week about the whole thing. I searched for MH17. And, why would poker suddenly be on my timeline, right?
Okay, there are many reasons why inappropriate content goes to you, whether or not you search for it.
But I can just choose to ignore it, right?
That's the thing. It comes up. You have this advertisement, inappropriate advertisement popping up on you, and this can be annoying. So that's the reason why this tool helps you to eliminate this unwanted. We are saying that unwanted information. You don't need this information when you want to do your work, when you want to do your research, and you don't want to be disturbed by this inappropriate content. So that's the reason why this tool helps you to do that. And on top of that, there are things that goes beyond that, which when you do your research or whatever work that you do, you are also contributing back to this sadaqah, which SalamWeb will then donate to that community. So in a way, like, well, you can do your search or you can do your work, and this effortlessly you are contributing to sadaqah. So that's another plus point on top of you being protected. So there's 2 points there for you.
We'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll talk more with SalamWeb. You're watching Notepad. Today we are discussing with Hasni Zarina, the MD of SalamWeb, talking about, well, I guess, how to make it a little bit more halal online. Zarina, the question of consumer choice is of paramount, and there's a huge market for Muslims out there, 1.7 billion Muslims registered for consumers. And, well, many of them are on, I guess, Google for search. Some of them are a little bit more discerning. They will go to other search providers, anywhere from DuckDuckGo to Yahoo to Bing, you name it, right?
Yes, of course.
Is it when they are on Google and they're not on SalamWeb, is it like consuming non-halal meat? Is that how it is?
Okay, but basically there are 2 parts of it. One is the search engine and one is the browser. So where you mentioned about DuckDuckGo, Google, Bing, and Yahoo, they are the search engines. And where SalamWeb is the browser, which sits lower than the search engine.
Okay, so the comparison would be Chrome, Safari,
exactly.
Firefox.
Chrome, Safari, that's the window, the first window that you go to.
Okay, so I'll refine my question. I'm a Muslim, I'm using Firefox. Does that make me non-halal?
Well, if you talk about the filters that they have and the search results that you can get out of that, it's really different than what we have in terms of we have built in filters that is suitable for the Muslims itself. So which means that our filters are based on this, as I mentioned before, the parameters that built on this, we call it the overriding themes, where there'll be no pornography, no gambling, and no, something to do with bad.
Let's talk about the risk for your business.
Yes.
Let's switch hats now. We are all business people now. And tomorrow, Chrome decides to introduce the same filters that you do have. And Chrome already has over 2 billion active users right now as we speak. Does that put your business in bad shape?
I don't think so, because that's just not it. That's just the part where we offer as the basic in terms of browser. But again, we may not be as huge as Google or as huge as Facebook. But in terms of developing this entire ecosystem, we believe that we have this capability and also good, I would say that the entire process is there already built in. We're not just talking about filter, that is just one part of it. We have this sadaqah which adds on to what you have as a user. And we also have some other tools basically for Muslims. So this is a browser for Muslim, if you like it, if you like to call it that way, because as a Muslim, you live your normal life and you want to perform.
It's a zero-sum game. I go to a butcher. There's halal meat. There's non-halal meat. It's binary, right? If I buy the meat from the non-halal meat, I'm eating non-halal stuff. Simple.
Yeah.
would this be the same if I use Chrome or Firefox versus SalamWeb?
It will be different because Firefox.
So I can use. I can be a Muslim and still use Firefox and Chrome.
Yes, but you miss out this opportunity of, filtering the good things for you, because like you will have, they will give you all the results, including pornography sites, when you don't want to see those things. So with SalamWeb, you are able to get what I mean. When you talk about filter, you filter bad things, you get the essence of it. So that's the whole concept of filtering. So, but with whatever that you have, you don't get this according to the Islamic principle.
So can you share with us the company background, SalamWeb Technologies Nambahat?
Okay, the company is basically owned by SalamWeb Technologies, the MCC Dubai. That's a holding company.
So who owns that?
That is owned by private investor, and it owns 100% shares of SalamWeb Technology Malaysia, the company which I am heading in Malaysia, and we are the operation arm for this company. Here in Malaysia, we provide the content, we do the content part, so you can see Salam News, where the content is there. We have Salam Today, that's our lifestyle portal, with a lot of other segments like suka, your spiritual part. So there are many other segments that covers the entire Muslim lifestyle.
Why is it launched in Malaysia and not in Dubai?
Well, that question is important, I guess. Yeah, because as you know, Malaysia is the place when you talk about Islamic digital economy. We have good foundation of Islamic finance. We started halal way back in 1974, before the rest of the countries, made their halal. We were one of the first. Our internet penetration is high. At least in 2018, we were like 87.4% when it comes to internet penetration. And one thing that we want to share, that Malaysians always love foreign products. But come to think of it, you have this product, and this is Malaysian, and we want to make Malaysians proud of having this Malaysian product, which is acceptable and it's being used in more than 150 countries in the world already, after launching it for only a few months.
So internet penetration is in the high 80%, but because the population of Malaysia is 30 million, we're looking at over 20 million users, right? And there's, I don't know, 7 billion human beings.
We're not looking at just Malaysian users.
Okay.
We're looking at the Muslim population in the world.
So that's 1.7 billion.
Yes, and we're looking at 10 to 20% of that. And as we speak, we are now being used in more than 150 countries around the world.
Okay.
So it's not just Malaysia. And
so
of
how
course
many people are on like SalamWeb right now?
Yeah,
what's the user number like?
We have in the hundreds of thousands.
Okay.
We've been out in the market we've launched it like in January this year, and it's been 5 months, and the numbers are very encouraging.
So what's your, I guess, imagination of how things are 5 years from now? Will people stop using Chrome and Firefox and all these other stuff and start using you? Okay.
Frankly, the lifespan of internet products are really short nowadays. You can see that it's getting shorter. With new products.
Some pushback on that one, because Google has been around for 20 years, Facebook,
and it's like going up and down and up and down, and even the brands in the market are like that.
Do you know that there's no social company, big social company introduced since 2011? I mean, that's just bizarre, right? There's no new Facebook, there's no new Twitter. Doesn't that signal that internet companies are starting to live longer?
In a way, yes, but as you know, that they have to continuously invent new things to attract people. Otherwise, the lifespan will be very, very short.
Yes, but that happens in any businesses, not just tech businesses.
But especially in tech business. So we feel that, yes, of course, there is a trend now that we feel that Muslims are more concerned about what they do, what they eat, in terms of lifestyle, not just Muslim. When you talk about the trend on the digital world, where people talk about safe internet. People talk about, having all this privacy issue, data issue, and even big giants are talking about it now. They're trying to find ways how to sort of work together to come up with a standard or compliance so that, things don't leak out and a lot of issues out there. And it's good that SalamWeb is here now, and we are already there in terms of putting our processes and compliance in place.
How do you make money? How do you monetize your business?
Okay, we have worked on a very, very solid, how shall I say it, solid business models based on successful business in this nature.
So what is this successful business model?
These are in the likes of Chrome, in the likes of those that you mentioned, similar type of business, and they have been successful in getting the revenues. So in that same format, we are also working towards
what
that.
Format is that? Advertising, subscriber
That's
base?
a mixed revenue, yes. That's advertising is one of it, but we are talking about ethical advertisements.
Like how? What is so unethical about advertisements right now?
Well, we don't do things that's non-halal per se. We don't do things like, having some pictures of inappropriate.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion with SalamWeb. You're watching Notepad with me, Ibrahim Sani. Today I have with me Zarina of SalamWeb Technologies. SalamWeb is of course an Islamic browser that have just been recently introduced in the market around the world, but they start off with Malaysia. The company is indeed based in Malaysia, funded by private investors in Dubai. I want to talk to you about the digitalization as a disruptive force. This is, of course, it goes without saying. When we talk about businesses who want to scale, there's only one way to do it, which is through digitalizing the business, all right? Anywhere from media publishers to retail, e-commerce, you name it, everything. Media as well, right?
Yes,
I mean, that's
obviously.
the most important thing. Because of the ubiquitous way of distributing their service and products, how is SalamWeb positioning yourself in the growth of technology right now, considering that consumers are very discerning? The cost to switch is actually small. They can just switch it with no problems. They're getting most of the products for free. How would SalamWeb see this business of yours in the current ecosystem?
Well, basically one of the things that are worth mentioning is that SalamWeb itself is free for the users. That's number one. But I think one of the challenges is the changing of human behavior. That's the part that we have to deal with. Yeah. So with this new, the digital economy and things like that, these are the challenges that will continuously put us, into that situation. But we feel that we are very clear about our target segments.
So what is the target segment?
We have quite a different type of segments that we target.
Like what?
Like generally the Gen Ms. These are the Generation Muslim, we call it. It's a new term for Gen Y with more inclination towards Islamic or religious perspective. We also have more of the parents with kids, because as you know that kids are spending their time on the digital world as well, and there are not many, there are products that's for kids like YouTube Kids and things like that, but when you talk about the general with Islamic values, you don't have that combining the entire browser with something that's more Islamic. And we also have the other segment, which are more of the senior or more 40 and above, who are really looking into products that can improve their daily life. So that's with that, we're not just stopping at developing browser, but what we want to build is that we want to make SalamWeb as the companion per Muslim. It's like you want to improve yourself on daily basis, and not just having a browser like, okay, you have your current browser, you just go onto the internet. But
but that's the thing I'm trying to get to. That.
Yes.
Like what?
Like we have
like
this
Qiblat Finder. What?
Yes, Qiblat Finder. We have tools, and we have some other things that we will be enhancing as we speak. We are talking about some other developments online, but these are going to be products that will improve your daily lives to make you a better Muslim. Like things that you want to know where to eat, finding the best restaurants. When you travel, you want to look for places, you want to look where is the nearby mosque. These are the things that you need on your daily basis, and you need to improve your life. Like you have a Quran application, but with some assistance. So these are the things that we are building in the pipeline. So it's just not purely browser.
How do you view competitor products? On my phone right now, there's 2 apps on Qiblat Finder. There's also an app, My Muslim Pro. Everything is there. Hadith, Sunnah, posters that I can share with my friends. There's also Maps, Apple Maps, Google Maps. Both can actually give me all the halal restaurants. And this is my phone.
Yes.
I mean, many others have the
same thing. You have 10 products.
Yeah. So how do you consolidate?
You have 10 products to do one that job that you need, and you have, if you have SalamWeb, that is one to do all the jobs. Don't you think so? That is a better proposition for you, rather than having 10 products.
Well, I guess you're talking about consumer, right? I mean, I would rather go to 10 different restaurants rather than one canteen with 10 different kind of stalls. That's just me. And I'm pretty sure you've sussed out your own target segments that would prefer consumers that would like one canteen with 10, I guess, offerings.
Because
is that the analogy that we're talking about?
It's not the same, because if you talk about one shop with one canteen with 10 different providers, they are just inside. But what we're saying is that we're getting as good as the ones outside, because there's no limitation to what you can have. Like if you have 10 providers in that canteen, that's it, that's just 10. Hence the reason why you want to have a different shop, because you don't want to keep on eating from the same one. But here, we are aggregating it from all over the world for you, and it's to give you one access. It's just like me saying that,
so you're the curator, I suppose.
It's like you going through one window, one door, or you want to go to 10 different doors to access for the same thing. I think it's easier for you to access to one door, save your space, easy for you to manage.
So we have a lot of Muslims that search for porn. They can't do that on SalamWeb.
They can search for it, the results will come, but for their research purposes, if they decide to proceed with that content. So they are being warned in a way that possibly they are bad contents for them. So they won't be surprised to get. But if it's really bad, it will be eliminated from their system.
You have AI running the show?
Yes, we have the AI to
like
recognize
people
well, at a certain level, of course, we have our editor looking at what are the inappropriate content, but everything else is done through the system. But however, the last mile, when you need to have human touch, when it comes to context perspective, yes, we have that.
What's next for SalamWeb for this year? We're entering the second half. What shall we expect from you?
Okay, we'll be releasing our updates, which has a lot more enhancements to the current version that we have. On top of this application. And just on that note, we are now working closely with some sectors, especially in the education sector. We are working closely with the Perak State Education, and in fact, this coming Monday and Tuesday, we'll be there together with them, Sekolah Menengah Jati, that's the pilot school for STEM decks. So, because Perak wants to also promote this idea of STEM decks, it's about technology, science, technology, and math. So, that is one of the ways how we reach out to our target segments. So, these are in the likes of students, university students, which we feel that it's very good to expose them to this clean internet. So this is about educating again, of course, just like the example I gave you before.
But it's not educating, it's filtering, right? Educating would be you give them tool, and then you're like, this is the better one, this is not.
The tool is doing that filtering, but the entire concept is having to consume clean internet it's a continuous education that we have to do.
But you're filtering the content from...
We are filtering the content, but to educate people in terms of the importance of you consuming good or appropriate data, appropriate information, and not to go out for inappropriate data or information. So again, the bigger picture of it is about educating people. This is like a big vision, you know, like you want to clean the internet.
But I'm sorry, I'm having a pushback with that, right? You want to teach a kid how to cross the road, you let the kid cross the road. You don't like bring the kid to a field where there's no road, and then you tell, okay, I've taught you how to cross the road.
This is where the tool is. You're giving them the tool to teach them and to educate them.
What tool? Your tool is filtering and you guys do the filtering.
Yes, but then the tool is filtering. It's already built up with filters, advanced filters, but there is the feature where you can also tag things which are not appropriate for you. It's like certain things may be appropriate for you but not appropriate for others. So then you have the flexibility to tag that if you use SalamWeb. So we want to educate people to, to be aware of the things on the internet.
Right, we have to draw this conclusion to a hold. This is my conversation with Hasni Zarina, the MD of SalamWeb Technology. If you've missed any part of this interview, just head on to astro.com and search for Notepad. Also, you can watch this interview on the AWANI app. Just head on to the Google Play and the Apple App Store. And Hasni, if people want to download the app, I guess they can also get the same place.
Yes, they can do it on Google Play or App Store. I will download it. And please download, test it out, give us a feedback. Yes.
See
absolutely.
How it goes. All right. Until next time, goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you, Puan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Fantastic.